Is in the BPI Telecom Mitsubishi, another leading contender in the Evo Challenge, as is of course Nick Elsmore, backing again this year from Hydrex. Really used the rallying well, lots of fans out to cheer on Nick. Charlie Payne then, this is a WRC Evo Mitsubishi, one of the last cars that was built apparently, and nice to have the Yorkshireman back in the championship. Steve Fleck, as ever, the car with no decals on it at all, except those that he has to wear, the number. And Steve Fleck in the Subaru always supports this event. Alan Cathcart coming in the silver Mitsu, running at number 23. Here's another man who's returned to rallying quite recently. Alan Cookson with a very early model Subaru WRC. And all the way from Iceland for a second year, Danny Sigurdsson. And setting quite a good pace, just destroying a marker. Welcome back. We move on to special stage 4. A rallying dog taking plenty of interest, and this is another tricky, fairly short stage with some 90 rights. You've got to be accurate, it's quite narrow, and the story thus far is that Marcus Dodd is in the lead. There he is, chased by Andrew Burton. Behind them a group of Julian Reynolds, Stephen Moore, Will Nichols, all very close together. Just a second or so between them. Here is Andy Burton. Hangs the tail out, new softer suspension for this latest season. I think it's the 10th season with that car. Here is Ingram sliding the car in. And Ingram, of course, should have been in amongst this group, but had to take that penalty from Friday night, which has wound him up considerably. And currently he's out of the top 25, but that won't last that long. He'll come charging back, I'm sure.
Max crest long, 250 up mid.
Julian Reynolds then got off to an excellent start, battling for third place in this very early Subaru Impreza WRC. Doesn't have all the clever trick diffs and the launch control of some of the later models. But the man from Wales is a fine driver. There, just clears the end of the stage there. Will Nichols through that chicane. Another man in this three-way battle for third place. As we said, John Ingram could have been in there but for that penalty. Somewhat harsh, we'd say. Here is Sean Devine, the Irishman. Another of the quick Irish boys that do that forestry championship. Quite a lot of success behind him. But here is the reigning champion from that series, Stephen Moore, in this ex-factory Focus car used last year by Henning Solberg in the World Rally Championship. Petch in one of the team's Accent WRCs. Young man works for the dealership, or the dealerships here. Daniel Barry, have they got that intercom working? They were blaming the onboard camera, I think. Seems to be working fine now. Threading it through the pine trees here. All very close in the Mitsubishi Challenge. Bogey, Elsmore, Sigurdsson, Barry, McCants, Ling, all separated by 6 or 7 seconds, so that's absolutely nothing. Lots of stages packed into a very busy day down here near Bournemouth. There's Cathcart, currently running just outside the top 20. There's a good place for a view, up a tree. This is one of the longer stages, Mount Ararat. Well, if you know your Turkey, you'll know that Mount Ararat is the highest mountain in Turkey. I have no idea why the stage is named after it. There must be some good reason. But this has been a stage used on the Sunseeker for many years, and here is the man who is leading this event, but only by 5 seconds from Andy Burton. Over the years, Marcus has matured as a driver, and he knows just has to go a certain speed, not flat out all the way. John Ingram, of course, is going absolutely flat out, trying to make up for that penalty, trying to move up the field.
500 up mid, left.
Talked to him between stages. He was absolutely fuming about that penalty because he said, if a marshal tells you to go and start, you start. Well, I'm sure there's two sides to the story. Certainly co-driver Allsop, very experienced, but John Ingram will be fighting to get back into the top 10. Here's Julian Reynolds though, indicator going in the much older Subaru, the number 4 car. And Julian Reynolds in an excellent third place. Go on board with him. Let's check out the style.
100. Brake, 2 right, entry, logs inside, and turn square left, split.
Going into this stage, Reynolds and Stephen Moore on the same second. 7 seconds behind Burton. Burton 5 seconds behind Dodd.
What's the figure saying? Any screens? No, I can't see. 1 right long and a crest.
Problems, problems!
It's just missing, isn't it?
Underway again, but I'm pretty sure he'll be caught here by Will Nichols. Nichols went into this stage in 5th position, and this will surely catapult him in front of Julian Reynolds, who's going to drop down the field.
Right, logs inside, 200.
And that is Nichols going by. Well, hopefully they can sort this out at service. They're going to get off the end of the stage, but they still have another stage to go before service. Here is Sean Devine then, and Devine, not used to these forests, running down in 19th place at the moment. But here is Stephen Moore in this car that's just come off 2 years of the World Rally Championship, very latest Focus. And here is a home-brewed special, which is fast as any of those WRC cars. Shelley Rogerson, the co-driver, formed a good relationship with Andy over the last year or so. David Bogie then, the problems with Reynolds should move him up to 5th place overall, but only has a handful of seconds over Nick Elsmore. There goes Elsmore. Made our titles with that huge accident on the Isle of Man last year. Here's Neil McCants, who won Group N and the Mitsubishis on the Isle of Man last year on the Manx National. McCants just inside the top 10, another Irish contender. Alan Cookson then really getting back into the groove. Used the Widine to warm up for his Ancro campaign, but had problems there. Magnificent service area, sponsored by Elliott Hire, Canford Arena, and Marcus Dodd is certainly in very high spirits. He leads the rally by 10.7 seconds over Andy Burton.
So far so good. I think we're sweeping the stages a bit, but we seem to be leading, so that's fine.
What are the conditions like? Because it's a bit drizzly now.
The stages are very dry. I mean, the drizzle won't. I don't think it'll wet them too much. But the stones on the surface, it's like little ball bearings. So we seem to be sweeping a lot of those out of the way, struggling for traction at the moment.
It's not affecting your times too badly, though.
No, I think if we ran a bit further down the order, we'd probably have a bit better times because we'd get more traction out of the corners. But you know, we are where we are.
said a very speedy morning, but still not yet on the pace of Marcus.
No, we just cannot keep up with Marcus. He's absolutely flying, yeah. He knows those stages well, yeah. Fair play to him.
How are you finding it out there?
It's good, but the car's slightly geared too low, so on the long straights we're just running out of oomph. It's on the limiter and it's crying its little heart out, so we're having to like ease off a bit just to let it, you know, keep it safe and not blow the engine up really.
So is that what they're trying to do now, find a little bit more power?
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to have time to do it at service, so we might just have to be a little bit more conservative this afternoon on the long straights. We need more chicanes really, yeah, we need chicanes.
Well, you've certainly stepped it up a notch this morning.
Yeah, we had a bad run on the first stage last night, so hopefully I'm trying to make up for it today on the loose.
How's the car handling? Any problems?
Yeah, no problems at all. Slight problem with the handbrake not gripping as well as it used to, but apart from that, we've had a really good, clean run.
Plan of attack now?
Still going to go for it.
You think you can get those two?
No. No, they're in a different rally, I think. I think it must be taking a shortcut somewhere, but we'll be trying as hard as we can.
David, first group in, fourth overall, not too bad for a morning's work.
Yeah, it's been going well. Had a good run so far, so no, I'm a happy boy, so just going to try and keep it up.
Going to try push maybe for a top three?
Yeah, it would be nice, but as I say, I'm more concentrated on the Evo, trying to win the Evo challenge than
Got 8 seconds on Nick.
Yeah, it's a good gap, so as I say, but that can all be lost by an overshoot or a spin or whatever, so it's a long way away.
Nick, you got that young charger in front of you, what are you going to do?
Well, I'll just keep pushing hard, and if he makes a mistake, we'll be there to pounce on him, so the pressure's on him really.
How are you finding the stages?
They're cutting out quite bad, to be honest, and I think this afternoon's going to be quite difficult, so hopefully we'll keep a clean, tidy line and work our way through the ruts.
Welcome back to Rally Fever. Moving on. Incidentally, at that service we just saw, Julian Reynolds retiring, and also, sadly, Sean Devine is out. 6.72 miles. This is one of the most westerly stages. Over in the Herne Forest. Earlier we were in the Ringwood Forest, which is part of the New Forest. But it doesn't matter which forest it is. This man, Marcus Dodd, knows it pretty well. The reigning champion, of course. Will Nichols battling for third place with Stephen Moore now. In fact, Moore has pulled out a little bit on Nichols. Here is John Lloyd, great supporter of rallying, and certainly enjoys it in that Ford Focus. And Lloyd running down in 20th place. Here is Andy Burton. Certainly he's keeping Dodd honest. Just about 13 seconds behind now. And he knew that Marcus would be a tough nut here. Stephen Moore then, the Irish Forest Rally champion, lying in third place. And he'll be pretty happy with that first visit to these forests. Here's one of those Metros we mentioned right at the beginning of the show. Used to be a regular on the Ancro National Championship. Warren Philliskirk, the man from Yorkshire. Lovely to hear the sound of that Metro. And here is John Ingram, and what has he done? He has battled his way right back up to 5th place. Magnificent drive.
Into mid-bump junction, 100, left 2 and right 2 long. Repeat, left 2 and right 2 long. 40, turn left 9.
Ingram's penalty from Friday was a minute. He would be third if he hadn't have sustained that penalty. Here is Petch Jr. running just outside the top 10. Co-driver Michael Wilkinson as ever. Man from County Durham. And what about that Group N battle? Well, it's still Bogey, Barry Elsmore and this man Sebastian Ling, all locked together, just about 15 seconds separating them. Bogey, though, the leader at the moment. And here he is, also rallying a Toyota WRC in the Scottish Rally Championship. Here is Daniel Barry carrying our camera, and he is just behind Bogey, only 3 seconds, and Barry really has increased his speed over the last year. Mark Bowen's his co-driver. Let's ride with them.
40,
2 right long into 5 right long. That's a 2 right long into 5 right long. 60 into 5 right long. Watch, comes up now, 5 right long. 5 right long. 60, turn 6 left tightens. Big cut push, 350. Over finish.
Reiterated again, tremendous battle in the Evo Challenge. Bogey, Barry, Elsmore, Ling and McCants as well, all very close together. And Keith Cronin and also Richard Cathcart hadn't given him a good plug. He'd been putting in some very quick times. Look at this, the wheels coming off! Oh, he's going to crash over, a huge accident for Alan Cookson.